One of the most common questions that I get from businesses that are looking to launch a company is whether a keyword in the domain name is an important ranking factor from an SEO standpoint. They're curious if a domain name like Columbus Plumbing Company is going to help catapult them in the search engine rankings. They're also curious if buying multiple domain names is going to be beneficial. I'm going to dive into this and more in this video. Domain names are easy to remember web addresses that are often purchased on a site like GoDaddy. Here you can see Columbus Plumbing Company. That is an example of a keyword-heavy domain name. According to Moz, search engines do use keywords in the domain name as a ranking factor. But tread lightly, there's a lot more critical thinking that goes into it than just moving forward with a keyword-heavy domain name. When choosing a domain name, you want to make sure it makes sense for your business. Going back to the example from earlier, ColumbusPlumbingCompany.com. It sounds great in theory as it incorporates a lot of keywords into the equation. But if this business is doing so well in Columbus that they then want to expand into Cincinnati and Cleveland, it doesn't make sense from a branding perspective, and it handcuffs them. Additionally, if this company wanted to expand into other services like HVAC, it limits them somewhat because people are going to think of them as just a plumbing company and not necessarily an HVAC company. Keyword-heavy domain names can be tough to differentiate versus your competitors. In this example, the query on Google that I conducted was Cleveland Locksmith Company. You'll see the top results are a company called Cleveland Locksmith and Cleveland Door and Lock. They sound very similar, and it's hard to distinguish the two. So yes, it's great that they're ranking towards the top of Google, but from a branding perspective, the one actually in the third position, Advanced Lock and Key, is more memorable. So you want to take that into consideration that it can be tough to differentiate from a competitor when incorporating a keyword into the domain name. Google's John Mueller, the head of search over at Google, has gone on record saying keyword-heavy domain names can be detrimental to the long-term impact of your website. You have to take everything Google says with a grain of salt because if you always listen to them, you might never be able to rank. But you do want to be cautious when John Mueller and Google is coming out saying that if you try to game the system, Google's smart and they're likely going to be able to catch on to this. There's a misconception that a keyword-heavy domain name will instantly improve your SEO rankings, that if you launch a brand new website and it has some of your keywords incorporated into it, you'll instantly rank on Google. This couldn't be further from the truth. You need to have authority coming to your website in order to see an increase in SEO rankings. And authority comes from other reputable websites linking back to your site. This builds up the authority. I'm going to walk through an example here, how if you have authority on your website, how the keyword can serve essentially as a tiebreaker to help you outrank competitors. I just did a Google search for Cleveland Plumbing Company, and you will see that the first result is a keyword-heavy domain name, clevelandplumbing.com. Definitely a keyword-heavy domain name, and they are reaping the benefits. You'll see they actually hold the first, second spot. Their Facebook page is the third spot. It's crazy. It's not until Neptune Plumbing in the number 5 position that you're seeing another competitor there. Well, if you go to SEMrush and look at the authority score, you'll actually see that Neptune Plumbing has a higher authority. They have a 19 versus an 11 of Cleveland Plumbing. But the keyword here is clearly a differentiating factor, helping ClevelandPlumbing.com catapult above Neptune Plumbing. So in this instance, you'll see that not only is it the tiebreaker, it's a little bit more than the tiebreaker because of, in this instance, a keyword-heavy domain name. In closing, yes, keywords within the domain name can have a positive impact on SEO. You saw in the example earlier of the Cleveland Plumbing Company, how when two competitors were going head-to-head, the company that had a keyword-friendly domain name was ranking towards the top of Google. So it can definitely have an impact. But you want to proceed with caution. Google has gone on record saying that it could be detrimental to the future impact of your website. There is a lot more competition out there of people using keyword-friendly domain names, so it's harder to differentiate yourself versus competitors. My general rule of thumb is always be focusing on building a brand, and if you can incorporate a keyword into the domain name while doing that, you'll be in good shape. My name is Jason Parks of The Media Captain. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Do me a favor, subscribe to The Media Captain on YouTube for more content like this.